A man goes to a tool store to buy a chainsaw. The server sells him the top-of-the-line model, saying that it will cut through over 100 trees in one day. The man takes the chainsaw home and begins working on the trees, but after working for hours, he only cuts down 2 trees. How can I cut for hours and hours and only finish 2 trees? He asks himself. The next day, the man brings the chainsaw back to the store and says it doesn't work properly. It looks okay, says the server, and starts the chainsaw. The man jumps back in shock and cries, "What's that noise?" An airplane was about to crash. There were 4 passengers on board, but only 3 parachutes. The first passenger said, "I am LeBron James, the best NBA basketball player. The Lakers and my millions of fans need me, and I can't afford to die." So he took the first pack and left the plane. The second passenger, Donald Trump, said, "I am the U.S. president, and I am the smartest president in American history, so my people don't want me to die." He took the second pack and jumped out of the plane. The third passenger, the Pope, said to the fourth passenger, a 10-year-old schoolboy, "My son, I am old and don't have many years left. You have more years ahead, so I will sacrifice my life and let you have the last parachute." The little boy said, "That's okay, Your Holiness. There's a parachute left for you. America's smartest president took my school bag." When the manager of a men's clothing store returned from lunch, he noticed his clerk's hand was bandaged, but before he could ask about the bandage, the clerk had some very good news for him. "Guess what, sir?" the clerk said. "I finally sold that terrible, ugly suit we've had for so long." "Do you mean that repulsive pink and blue double-breasted thing?" the manager asked. "That's the one." "That's great," the manager cried. "I thought we'd never get rid of that monstrosity. That had to be the ugliest suit we've ever had. But tell me, why is your hand bandaged?" "Oh," the clerk replied, "after I sold the guy that suit, his seeing-eye dog bit me." I was halfway through a giant cheeseburger at a restaurant, absolutely enjoying every bite. At the next table, a woman quietly eating a salad kept glancing at my plate. Finally, she couldn't hold it in anymore. She looked at me and said, "You know, a cow had to die so you could eat that burger." I slowly set my burger down, looked at her salad, and nodded thoughtfully. "You're absolutely right." Then I smiled and added, "But if you and all your vegan friends stopped eating the cow's lunch, maybe the poor thing would have had enough grass to survive." She rolled her eyes so hard I thought they might get stuck. "Plants don't have feelings." I grinned. "Really? Then why do they always look so miserable after you chop them into a salad?" She had no comeback. Just then, our waiter walked by, looked at both of us, shook his head, and quietly whispered, "Sir, please stop arguing with the vegetables." Even the burger looked like it was trying not to laugh. The teacher noticed Johnny walking into class with a swollen cheek. "Johnny, what happened to your face?" Johnny sighed. "Our house is tiny. Mom, Dad, and I all sleep in the same room. Every night Dad asks if I'm asleep. When I answer, he tells me to be quiet, and I end up getting a smack for still being awake." The teacher frowned. "Tonight, don't answer at all. Just pretend you're fast asleep." The next morning, Johnny walked into class with an even bigger swollen face. The teacher gasped, "Johnny, I told you not to answer." Johnny nodded. "I didn't. Dad asked if I was asleep, and I stayed perfectly still. Then I heard Mom say, 'Did you lock the front door?' Dad said, 'I don't remember.' Mom asked, 'Should we go check?' Dad said, 'Yes, let's go.' The teacher leaned in. 'Then what happened?' Johnny shrugged. 'Well, they never go anywhere without me. So I jumped up and yelled, 'Wait for me. I'm coming too.' And that's how I got this one." Danny had recently passed his driving test and decided to ask his father if there was any chance he could get a car for his birthday. "Okay," his father said. "I'll make you a deal. If you can get your grades up to A's and B's, study your Bible, and get your hair cut, I'll seriously consider it." A few weeks later, Danny returned to his father. "I'm really impressed," his father said. "Your grades have improved, and you've clearly been studying your Bible. I'm proud of you. However," he continued, I'm disappointed that you still haven't had your hair cut. Danny smiled and replied, while studying the Bible, I noticed that Moses, John the Baptist, Samson, and even Jesus all had long hair. His father nodded. That's true, he said. But did you also notice they walked everywhere? A man gets home early from work and catches his wife in bed with another man. The husband challenges the other man to an old-fashioned duel with his handguns. Whoever manages to shoot first and kill the other gets his wife. The other man agrees, so they go into another room so the wife doesn't have to see it. Once in the other room, the husband turns to the other man and says, "Why should either of us have to die? We will both fire a shot into the air and lay on the ground as if we're dead. When she comes in, she will see our lifeless bodies and rush tune of us. Whoever she chooses can have her." The other man agrees again, so they fire into the air and collapse. The wife throws the door open and peers down at the two men, then backs out of the room and calls out, "Darling, you can come out, they're both dead." The CIA was hiring a new secret agent. After months of interviews, background checks, and grueling training, only 3 finalists remained, 2 men and 1 woman. For the final test, the first man was led to a heavy steel door. An instructor handed him a pistol and said, "Inside this room is your wife. To get this job, you must prove you'll follow orders without hesitation. Go in and eliminate the target." The man stared at the gun, then shook his head. "I can't do it." The instructor nodded. "Then you're not the person we're looking for. Take your wife home." The second man received the exact same instructions. He walked into the room with the pistol. 5 long minutes passed. Finally, he came back out with tears in his eyes. "I tried, but I just couldn't do it." The instructor sighed. "Take your wife home." At last, it was the woman's turn. She was handed the same pistol and given the same instructions. She calmly walked into the room. The door closed behind her. Bang, bang, bang. Then came shouting, crashing, furniture smashing, more yelling, a loud thud, and then silence. Several moments later, the door slowly opened. The woman stepped out, brushing the dust off her clothes and wiping the sweat from her forehead. The stunned instructor asked, "What on earth happened in there?" She rolled her eyes and replied, "Your pistol was loaded with blanks. I had to finish the job with the chair." Moral of the story: never underestimate someone's determination, especially when they're told it's the final test.